And I said, come over, come over, come on over, you'll say.
All right, now we're good. All right, Ryan. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Town of Portland Contest. And this is in the studio. This is take 2. You're never going to hear take 1 because we didn't hit record. So anyway, let's start this again, Ryan. You got a lot to cover. We had a long selectmen's meeting last night, so why don't we go right to? We started it off with Job's Pond, so let's continue there. My bad.
No, it's all good. Thank you, Dave. It's good to be here again. And we certainly do have a lot going on in the town of Portland, so I'll just jump right into what we're working on. So some good news is the town of Portland found out this week that the governor's office has appropriated funds via the bond commission to contribute to the local match that we needed to pump out and save the flooding situation at Job's Pond. And so $187,000 have been made available, and this is going to also match the 700 or so thousand from the federal government side. That's going to allow us to pump out the pond. And so there's still a lot of work to do. The bond commission will meet tomorrow, and as long as this gets approved, we will be fully funded. So I do expect that to occur. I don't think the governor would have put out a press release ahead of time if he wasn't pretty sure about that. And so we're very excited. I want to thank the governor's office. I want to thank the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. I want to thank Demis, and then our state representatives, Christy Carpino and Norm Needleman, for all their work in helping us to get on the bond commission agenda for this important project, because there's still 8 homes that are uninhabitable due to flooding on the pond, and there are a number of homes that are also in jeopardy should the water level rise more. And so as soon as we can get pumps in, the earlier the better, so we can start lowering that water level of Job's Pond. Right. And so I know time is what everyone wants to know. How quickly, now that we have funding, can we get pumps in? There's still a lot of work to do. I don't have a full answer on that, but I can promise that everyone's working as quickly as possible. So the town is also working on access agreements with the property owners so that we can run the pipes that are needed from the pond to the Connecticut River. And there's 3 property owners. That's the YMCA Camp Ingersoll, the Airline Trail, which is owned by Eversource, and then there's also a residential property owner in Portland as well that has a culvert under Route 66 that we will be
utilizing
to
get the water. Now that's up the old railroad track, correct?
Correct. Yeah, the Airline Trail is the old railroad track.
Yeah.
And that was the path that we used in 1984. Yeah. And so that plan is still in place. Now that we have funds, we'll be able to have a contractor in place. I need to have a special town meeting so that I can get authorized to enter into these agreements with the state and federal government so we can get the funds. So that's coming up on June 18th. There'll be a special town meeting, and there are no funds from the town, so I don't expect this to be a controversial vote, but we want to make sure that we do everything properly on this as well.
Yeah, you got quite a few town meetings scheduled here.
I'll go through the schedule. It's a busy month.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if we've ever had a month like this before.
I know. My God. Well, it's progress. That's things getting done.
Yeah. So the pond is good. There's still some permitting issues to work out with deep as well, but we're getting through, and we're going to get pumps in within the next 3 weeks. So just give us some time.
Sure.
All right. So what else do we have going on? We're going to talk about our school facilities project.
Yeah.
That was the hot topic last night at the Board of Selectmen meeting. Now, we've been talking about school facilities now for well over 2 years.
Yes.
And perhaps even longer. And the Board of Education has approved an education spec plan that would create a Valley View school that would be a pre-K to grade 5.
Okay.
And under that plan, we would then decommission Gildersleeve School and Brownstone Intermediate School, and they would no longer be schools. That was the direction that the town told us that they would like to go in a survey that went out to every registered voter in town. And we promoted that. I think I was on this podcast promoting that survey as well.
Yep.
And so we've done a lot of work to get to this point. And in order for us, the goal of this is to have a question on the ballot this November, because this November is the presidential election. And so that's when you have the highest voter turnout. And that way we can make sure that everyone gets a say in what happens.
Absolutely.
And so in order for that to happen, there are several meetings that need to take place in the month of June. And so the first one is we're going to have a public hearing, and that's going to be on June 18th at 6 p.m. And now I want to note it was originally slated for the Buck Foreman building, but I just received word this morning that the media center at the high school is available, and that accommodates more people.
Okay.
So we're going to move it there and,
Okay.
and make sure that we don't want to have any capacity issues with that. So it's going to be at 6 p.m. on the 18th in the library or media center at the high school. So that's step one. Then on that same evening, there'll be a special meeting of the Board of Selectmen at 7:30 p.m.
Okay.
Also at the media center. And at that meeting, there are 2 resolutions that the board will need to pass, and one of which is going to create a special town meeting, which is going to be held on June 26th. And at that special town meeting, the town will meet to discuss again the school bonding, but there's no vote that takes place at that meeting.
Okay.
What happens is it gets adjourned to the referendum. So the meeting's on hold, just like we do with the annual town budget meeting, until the vote takes place in November. And so that's the process. There's a few meetings to get through between now and then, but it does appear that is the question that is going to be on the ballot in this November. And so it'll be a yes or no question. And I think after all the time and effort that's gone into this, I think it'll be good to put this to a vote and then see what happens and go from there.
Yeah, got to move. Sure.
Big decisions, and we continue to work on, if this plan were to move forward, well, what would we do with Gildersleeve School and the Brownstone Intermediate School? And I am pleased to report that there are several options that we've talked to developers about. There's a terrific committee that we have underway that has done some really great work. They're also going to be providing the Board of Selectmen an update on that at the June 26th meeting of the Board of Selectmen, which is there as well.
All right.
All right. So that is what is going on with the school facilities project. And then, of course, a project I know that's near and dear to your heart, Dave, is water.
Yes.
And we are up against the clock.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. And we are working very hard to install a pump this year, a well, at the area just north of the Portland Recreational Complex that our hydrogeologists identified. And we drilled a test well that is estimated to produce between 1 to 2 million gallons of water a day at this location.
Yeah.
And getting this well in place by the end of this summer would allow us to still meet the timetable that we need, because our contract with MDC is set to expire at the end of 2025.
Yep.
And so we need to have something in place. Otherwise, we may be forced to sign or re-sign a long-term agreement with MDC. And that would just kind of put us out of the game of finding our own water.
Sure.
And at this point, because we found a water source and a clean and plentiful source,
exactly,
it would be really be a disappointment to kind of not be able to make it through when we're almost at, I don't know, maybe the 10-yard line.
Yes, so, we're in the red zone.
Exactly. We're in the red zone on this. And so the Board of Selectmen has advised me that they want to see this, I think it was unanimously. However, there's a cost to it. There's $1.2 million that the town is going to have to come up with. We've been looking at funding sources from a wide variety of places. We have not been successful yet. We're not giving up. There's plenty of avenues. However, given the tight timeline, the only way that we're going to be able to fund this project between now and August is to appropriate town funds. Yeah. And so we're working on that. And my plan is to present at the June 18th meeting of the Board of Selectmen the option that we would need. And most likely it's going to be another special town meeting.
Yeah.
And we'll put that to a vote as well. And the town will have to come out and say, do we want to do this or do we not want to do it?
Well, and it behooves the town, to become, sustainability is a big issue, obviously, and to make the town more sustainable, it would behoove the town to, move ahead as far as that goes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and also the point is, if we don't re-sign with MDC, that's a lot of water that we don't have to buy elsewhere, and we can provide that cheaper. And the idea is to lower the water rates for our customers in the long run, and also, to your point, be sustainable, and maybe even have the possibility of expanding our water source to neighboring towns.
Sure.
So there's a lot of options that we can do with it. It's a lot of work, but we have water, and we just have to get it, which is the positive thing, is that we have water.
Well, the old saying, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink until we come up with the money.
That is true. So let's talk about roads.
Yes.
So we talked about roads last night at the Board of Selectmen meeting, and our Public Works Director, Ryan O'Halpin, has a plan to address a number of the roads in town with some funding. That there'll be a special town meeting also on that meeting is going to be on the 26th on the roads. And really there's several that we would like to reclaim or pave. There's Perry Avenue, which is the road right next to the Brainerd Place development. Then we are looking to do an area of Spring Street, an area of Dogwood. And then the big one is High Street. And that's the one, if you read any of the comments on the Portland community page, the High Street is a hot topic.
And the rumble strips.
The rumble strips. So the plan is to get rid of the rumble strips later this year. We have a drainage project that's beginning in just a few weeks on High Street, and that'll pave the way for the later project as long as this goes forward. But I think it'll be good. We'll be able to mill and pave from the corner of Route 66 and High all the way up to the high school.
Yep.
So we'll get a substantial portion of that done. The portion after the high school going north towards William Street, that's slated for a water main replacement project later this year. We have a steep grant to replace those water lines. And the other area that we are paving on High Street has already been replaced, those water lines. So that's why we're able to do that now. And then we'll be able to hit the rest of High Street at a later date. But this will get us pretty far, and I'm pretty excited that we're able to do that as well. And then I guess I mentioned Brainerd Place, but I didn't talk about it.
No,
so,
well, do tell.
Yeah, so we had the Planning and Zoning Commission met last week. They finally made a decision. I know that was a long time coming for the residents of Portland, kind of figure out what's going to happen. Are there going to be apartments or more apartments or not? And so the Planning and Zoning Commission did not approve that, so there will not be additional apartments. And I believe the developer is now working to figure out, well, what's next. And so there'll be more news on that soon, I believe. And so the Board of Selectmen is working also on that as well. We met in executive session last night on the tax agreement. And so I should have more news on that next time. But I think it's important because that's the one everyone's talking about.
Sure.
I don't have any concrete news to share today, but I'm sure I will soon.
Okay. All right. Well, so be it. We just keep the ball moving. That's all we can do.
So also, let's see, I want to talk about some good news in town, and let's see. I want to thank one of our students, or Eagle Scouts, soon to be Eagle Scouts, Logan Prince, for building picnic tables for the Portland Senior Center.
Nice.
There's some beautiful oak tables. They're handicap accessible and they look terrific. So next time you're at the Senior Center, I encourage you to stop by the back area and take a look at these tables. They're really, really nice.
Nice.
And so I want to congratulate, we had 4 Portland businesses that have recently won or earned grants from the Middlesex County Revitalization Commission. You may recall I talked about that at this meeting, and I know that we had a number of applications.
Me being one of them.
I know. So I'm sorry, Dave, but there are 3 more years of this, I should say. So if you didn't get it this year, please apply again.
Okay.
It's really difficult. There's a lot of great businesses, and everybody has some real needs and deserves a lot of the funds. The MCRC only has $200,000 a year to give away. So it's it's a very competitive grant process. And I think this year there was a request for at least over 1 million funds. And so it's hard to whittle that down. But I do want to congratulate the 4 businesses in town that were selected this year. That is the Hometown Garage in Portland, which received a $6,242 grant. And they will be adding a refrigerant handling system down there.
Yep.
And then Olson Backman, LLC, has received a $12,244 grant for infrastructure and staff training.
Okay.
And the River Ridge Farm in town has received a $15,000 grant to replace a greenhouse over at their farm.
Okay.
And Valley Construction received a $25,000 grant for expansion, which will lead to increased employment as well.
Nice.
So I want to congratulate all of them. I think Portland had 14 businesses apply. So, we did 4 out of 14 is not the best, but we actually did a lot better than our neighboring towns in Middlesex County too.
Good.
So I would just encourage everyone to apply again. This Saturday is Quarry Day in Portland. Are you going to be there, Dave?
I hope to be.
All right. It's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Riverfront Park. There's going to be a craft fair and vendors. And our friends from the new Nordic Spa are going to be in town to talk about the project. We're very excited about that. We had originally talked about it possibly being the groundbreaking for the project. But after thinking about it, I think they decided that they'd like to do it at a later date once there's actually construction underway. So there'll probably be a groundbreaking, I'm hoping, in August or September of this year. So we're really excited about that everybody wants to know when that spa is going to be opening up.
That's going to bring all the puzzle pieces together on the riverfront.
I think so. That's a big piece right there.
Yes.
And then, of course, we have Juneteenth next Saturday, which is going to be on the 15th. June 15th, we'll be celebrating Juneteenth at Portland Middle School from 10:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. I know the Solidarity Committee has been doing a lot of work making sure that this event goes on very well. They do such a great job with it. I want to say it's the 5th year of Juneteenth in Portland.
It is.
And so we've been doing this for a little while now. It's a terrific tradition. And again, I hope to see you all there at that as well. And I also want to point out that there is a summer kickoff being put on by Youth Services on the 27th of June as well. And that's going to be 3:30 to 5:30 in the green by the senior center and between the Buck Foreman building right there, the town green. There's going to be an ice cream truck and also a petting zoo. So it's a really great event for the children, and we're excited about that. And let's see, did I miss anything, Dave? I'm trying to go through all the big topics.
I think we got most of it covered as far as that goes. Any news on the rest of the riverfront? I know that we did the mitigation down at the for where the oil tanks were. Any news on that at all, or as far as what's happening there?
So the 248 Brownstone Avenue, we have the remediation work has been completed. And I just have an email actually from Ty and Bond that I have a paper to submit later today on that. But the big thing is submitting an RFP, a request for a developer proposal for that site. We're really excited about that, especially with the Nordic Spa. I think it's going to be potentially a nice economic development driver for the town. But we have not put that RFP out yet, just between the Brainerd Place, Job's Pond, the schools, the water. It's kind of unfortunately taken a little bit of a back seat. I know the land use office has been very busy on Brainerd Place and the spa. And so we're going to get that out, but we definitely haven't forgotten about it. That's for sure. Also, time is kind of our friend on something like this, because the more the spa gets along on it, the more desirable the town's property is.
Oh, absolutely.
So, but yeah, no, we're definitely excited for that. So look for that to come. Yeah, great question, Dave.
Yeah. And next week is going to be graduation day at the high school.
That's
going to be next Thursday.
Exactly. So I'll be there. Are you doing graduation this year?
I am. I usually do.
You're back, huh?
Yeah, well, I'm doing the graduation, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we missed you on Memorial Day, Dave.
Yes. Now, I heard Mike did a great job.
He did. He did.
He was, I think he filled the bill very, very well.
He did. We got to get him some water next time because his voice was running a little dry at the end. And I said, I wonder how Dave did it for all those years. I don't remember your voice ever, going out, cutting out on you. So. But Mike did a great job.
He did a great job, and also kudos. I guess the Highlander Hustle was a big success up at the high school.
Yeah,
so
that was great.
I know you participated, so give us a little rundown on how that went.
It was great, honestly. Hats off to Mike Pelton for organizing the event and setting everything up. It was a 24-hour run-a-thon that started. It went from noon on Saturday to noon on Sunday.
Yeah.
And it was great. I mean, there was so many participants that came. I was away on Saturday, but I was there Sunday morning with joined Christy Carpino, and we did some laps and just seeing there were some people who were ultra marathoners that had been running for just 24 hours straight.
Wow.
It was kind of crazy. And I guess they did some night running too.
Yes.
with glow sticks and all that.
Yes,
I'm surprised you weren't up there with your shirt that you're wearing.
Yes,
You would have stood right out.
My glow shirt. As far as somebody took some drone pictures and so forth with the glow sticks. It looked really cool.
I thought you'd do a 5 a.m. walk, Dave.
I do.
Were you up there for it?
I was not. I was away this weekend, so
okay.
To go from there. But I had to do some podcasting, so we're with the mobile podcast, whatever. But that's great.
Yeah,
No,
great.
That's awesome. So fantastic. Yeah, the track is great, and the first morning. This week is the first time I've been up there that the irrigation has been running on the soccer field. So I had to walk around.
You had to dodge the drops.
Dodge the drops, yeah, and so forth. So anyway,
oh man,
that's great.
I think that's everything. I mean, we have a real lot going on.
Yep.
And so I would just say pay attention for all the upcoming meeting dates because,
Yep.
as I mentioned, I think it's the just to give you the dates again, it's the 18th.
And
it's the 26th, and so we have 6 different meetings on the 18th, and then we have 4 scheduled for the 26th right now.
Yeah, and those are all going to be at the media center at the library at the
at
high
least
school.
the 18th is
The 18th,
yeah.
okay.
The 26th is currently at the Buck Foreman, but we'll have to watch that, and if capacity is an issue, we'll move that as well.
Sure to go from there. All right, well, fantastic, Ryan. Thanks so much for taking time out. I know I'm going to be doing Charles's podcast tomorrow at 10.
Great.
So he'll give us the update on the school system and everything that's happening in the academic side of things. So to go from there. So anyway, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this episode of the Town of Portland podcast with our first selectman here live in the studio at Conlin Valley School of Music and Dance and our podcast studio. So stay tuned, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm your host, Dave Kuzminski. Please tune in every week for new and relevant conversations about the town of Portland. You can find us at portlandct.org or at YouTube/Town of Portland, and now wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you've enjoyed our podcast, please consider subscribing and sharing with friends. This podcast was produced by the Town Tech Educational Partnership Program, which is a partnership between Portland High School and the Portland Town Hall. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or organization, check out towntech.org/podcast to learn more.